This is how I turned 10K into 100K in the shortest possible time for the maximum possible return. Also, the last one I share is the one I actually like the most, and it's the one that I think will get the highest return. And if you've ever watched any content on investing, I don't think you'd have covered this one because people forget this. So I've been investing now for 20 years this month. I've done over 280 million pounds, so well over $300 million in sales in one of my businesses in that time. And I have a portfolio of properties which has now gone over 400 units. So I've been doing this a long time, and I've been investing in the stock market for nearly 20 years, and property and business and other assets. And so all of this experience is sweated down into the 5 things that I would do to turn 10K into 100K or more for the best return. Okay, so what I wouldn't do is I would not put all 10 grand into one thing. I think this is a big mistake. Now, the Americans love to say, go all in. But the problem with going all in is you can lose everything too. So once you get over a small amount of money, it is actually not smart to put it all into one thing. And you could say, bigger risk, bigger reward, but you could also say bigger risk, lose it all. Now, I suppose if you're watching this thinking 10 grand is not a massive amount of money to me, you might put more into one class. But if this is a reasonable amount of money to you, I would not put it all in one thing. I would spread it between 3 and 5, something like that. The second thing I wouldn't do is go all in on AI. Everyone seems to be going all in on AI. There's going to be trillions put into AI. AI could be the biggest bubble in history, even bigger than tulips. Do you know people were paying more for tulips than they were for houses back when we had tulip mania? So I would not go all in on one thing. I would not go all in on AI. Ray Dalio has come out recently and said in this market, with possibly something worse than a recession coming, you need to be in 11 different asset classes or unrelated stock, shares, companies. So that's very diverse. So I personally right now would put about 30% into the stock market. Now, it would have been more 2, 3, 5 years ago. We could be near the peak and we could have a correction, a recession, or worse. But long term, the stock market always wins if you invest in, say, a fund of funds and you hedge across the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100 or the FTSE 250. So that has been proven to work. In the last 50 years, I think there were no more than maybe 6 or 7 years that dropped. And also, get this, since 1929, in the last 100 or so years, if you put your money in timed the absolute worst, so you put some money in the day before the 29 crash, some money in the day before the 2008 crash, and you timed it the worst, as long as you didn't sell, you'd have still made 6% a year. And the long-term average is just over 10% a year. So you'd have still won being the worst stock market investor ever, as long as you use my BHD formula. Trading, I think, 99.9% of traders lose. They only tell you about the wins, like the gamblers and the addicts. You have buy costs, sale costs, taxes, and you interrupt compounding. And the golden rule of compounding from Charlie Munger is never interrupt it. Now, personally, I'd put 60 to 80% of that into equities and 20 to 40% of that into bonds. I generally don't like bonds because I don't really trust governments that much. But bonds are supposed to be the safest asset class because they're backed by a government. It just depends how much you trust governments. If you're really skeptical, you might do 80 or even 100% equities. But bonds have been relatively cheap. Of course, you've got to check the market because when you're watching this video, things may have changed. So number one, 30% in the stock market. I'd set up an account on Hargreaves Lansdown or Charles Stanley. You can invest personal money into Hargreaves Lansdown, company money into Charles Stanley, although that's still owned by your company because you can invest your company money into the stock market. And I would put 30% of the 10K in, and I'd put 60% of that into equities and 40% into bonds. The second thing I would do is put 20% into gold. So with 3 grand in on the stock market, then I'm going to be 2 grand in on gold. So if the market is rising a lot and there looks to be room for the market rising and the economy is good and the emotion and the energy is good, and when prosperity, not austerity, I'd be lower on gold. But 20% in gold is actually a relatively high allocation because gold loves fear. Gold loves uncertainty, and generally when other assets are crashing, gold is going up. The billionaires put money into gold and they hope it never goes up in value, because if gold is going up in value, property's probably dropping, the stock market's probably dropping, businesses and general economies are probably dropping. Now people say to me, oh yeah, but Rob, gold is so high right now. Well, it is compared to where it was, but I don't think it is compared to where it's going to go. And some, hardcore gold evangelists, people like Peter Schiff, for example, many people are calling that gold could still go to 10 grand and more. If you track gold price through history, it does go up. It flatlines through prosperous times. Usually we're not in prosperous times. Ray Dalio thinks that something worse than a recession is coming. So I'm 20% in on gold, and I like physical gold. I want it delivered to me. I want to hold it in my hand, because if you put it in a vault, you got to pay the vault. And who owns the vaults? The banks. And banks in history have recalled gold, so I'm holding it myself. I'm going to put 20% into silver. So as I speak now, silver's hit another high. In 2020, it bottomed at $11 an ounce. The end of 2025, it's hit $62 an ounce. Silver's up more than 100% in 2025. It's up 520% since 2020. It has gone wild. It's starting to catch up a little bit on the ratio of silver to gold. Because gold really boomed in the 90s and 2000s and the 2010s compared to silver. So what you used to have is silver and gold would track each other exactly as a ratio, but then they kind of got depegged. And so then gold just shot up a lot more exponentially than silver did. So when you compare their values to each other, silver still looks very low priced. What I like about silver is if it goes up 20%, that's at the moment, what is that? A $10 rise. But, a $10 rise in gold is 0 point something percent. So you're going to get a higher actual amount of value increase on a smaller percent because silver is a lot cheaper. It's an easy class to get into compared to gold because it's a lot cheaper. It has, important functions like we need it for batteries. There's quite a scarce supply of it because it is an industrial metal, not just a precious metal. Silver was actually currency before gold. I really like silver. I bought loads of silver about a year ago, and it has gone wild. It's more than doubled. I was saying to people for years, maybe you want to be in silver and gold. Hey, I don't do financial advice. I just tell you my financial experience. And that is true. And some people went in and they're really happy. Some people sat on their hands because they're like, oh, it's already gone up, so I'm not doing it anymore. Well, you can't really compare tomorrow's price with yesterday's price. For many asset classes, yesterday's price is gone. I remember looking at Ferrari 355 Spiders for 30 grand. Well, now the Spider's 90 grand. It's gone up 300%. The GTS is 120 grand. I'm talking pounds. You're never going to get one for 30 grand ever again. And sometimes I look at the price of things after the lockdown and I'm like, no, hotels are more expensive, train fares are more expensive, and it's never going back. And gold and silver, yeah, they're going to correct. But, don't judge buying today based on you missing the boat if there's a lot more room for growth. And a lot of the experts are saying that gold and silver has a lot more room to grow. And I agree with that. Not financial advice, but here's the thing. Do you think the world's going to get better or worse? Do you think the economy is going to get better or worse? Do you think there's going to be a recession, correction, or a depression? Because if you think that things are going to get better then maybe you want to reduce those percentages. But if you think things are going to get worse, which I think most people do and I do, then silver and gold are a great hedge against other assets crashing. Okay, then I'm only going to put 10% in crypto. And you know what? Before I went live on this video, I thought maybe I should only put 5% into crypto. I'll get a load of the crypto evangelists hating on me. The thing with crypto is it's still really new. Gold predates humanity. Gold existed before humans and Neanderthal did. Some people say it existed before the earth existed. So it has thousands of years of history. You have 20 years of history of crypto, and people do not remember that when they're evangelists. So that's why I'm only 10%, and I was considering 5 into crypto. Now, of that 10% I'm into crypto, I'm 80% of that into Bitcoin, and I'm 20% of that maybe Ether and XRP. I'm not fucking around with meme coins. I'm not fucking around with shit coins. I'm not fucking around with altcoins. You might. Now, the more you learn, the more you earn, and the more you know about a class, well, then, you're probably going to increase your odds of winning. I'm sure if you're in the top 0.1% in knowledge in alternative crypto investments, you can make money. So one caveat I would say here is, if you feel like you enjoy and you know the stock market well, you could increase the percentage. Same with gold and silver, same with crypto. But I'm giving you kind of like a broad approach. So you might decide to go 70% Bitcoin, 20% ETH/XRP, 10% altcoins. Now, that leaves 20%. And this is the one that's probably in the shortest amount of time going to make the biggest return on your 10 grand investment. And that is, I'm going to put 2 of my 10 grand into starting an information-based business. So for probably less than $100, you could get domain name, hosting, company registration, merchant provider, and company bank account. And these are the 5 main things that you need to start an information business. And you might be able to do that for under $100, maybe even £60. And you are live. And because information doesn't need premises, loans, stock, overhead, there's not a massive supply chain or a delay in delivery. There's instant delivery. This is information. There is instant delivery as I live stream it. You could turn $100 into $1 million. So my information business started 20 years ago, and it did 6 figures in its first year, and it was doing 7 figures by year 3, and it was doing 8 figures a year, so more than 10 million by probably year 8 or 9. Now, no other asset class that I've invested in with my own money has gone from 0. In fact, I put 200 quid on a credit card into a joint account with my business partner, who also put 200 quid, but he had the money. We put 400 quid in, and we launched our information business, and that got us a domain name. It got us a few ads on Google AdWords. It got us a little mini website built. You don't even need a website now. You don't even need to pay a designer now. You can just use AI for all of this. You can just set up on free social media platforms as your new websites. And you can drive traffic through social media and content and lives onto wherever it is that you're selling your information, whether it's Kajabi or Zoom. So, an information business is the lowest cost, highest speed, lowest friction, quickest delivery. And you can go from 0 to 6 figures in a year, and 6 to 7 figures in 2 to 3, and 7 to 8 in 5 to 10. Now, that is not a guarantee. And of course, there's a lot of work that you have to do. It does not work unless you do, but it is possible. And therefore, I would say that that's going to probably be, in the first 3 years, 70% of the way to you getting from 10 grand to 100 grand. Now, my 3 main investing models, SIM, is save, invest, multiply. So you store or save up 10 grand, and then you invest it like I've shared here, and then you BHD, buy, hold, die, and allow it to multiply without buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling. And then you store up another 10 grand, and then you allocate it again, and then you leave it, and then you store up another 10 grand and you allocate it again, and then you leave it. And then over time, that compounds. So save, invest, multiply in batches of 10. Buy, hold, die, don't buy, sell. And then look for assets with ICE, which is income, capital, and equity. So only property and business have all three. But if we go through the classes we've covered, the stock market has income and capital. It doesn't have equity because you can't buy it cheap. I mean, it might seem cheap to you, but you can't get it at a discount. But it has income stream, dividends, and it has capital, which is the amount that it's worth. Now, gold doesn't have income. It doesn't have equity because you're buying it just a little margin over spot price and there's a very small margin of profit. But it does have capital value and it's a very good store of value. Gold the same, silver the same. Silver has no income, no equity, but it does have capital. Crypto has no income, no equity. You buy it at today's price, but it does have capital. But a business has income from profits and dividends and drawings. It has capital because as you generate revenue in the business, the capital value of it goes up. And it has equity because you own shares in it. So actually, the last 20% is probably the top 80% in getting you from 10 grand all the way up to 100 grand or more, or a bit less, but it'd still be a result. What is it they say? Shoot for the moon because if you miss, you might land in the stars. And if you'd like to land in the financial stars and you'd like to make, manage and multiply more money, if you'd like to start and scale a business, if you'd like to build multiple streams of income, if you'd like to get access to hundreds of hours of courses, resources and masterclasses from me that I've built 20 years and nearly 300 million in sales in experience, and you'd like to gain access to all of this for less than what I've spent on Starbucks coffee in the last 24 hours, I recommend you join Money.School. Money.School is my online global money school. My vision is to help as many people on the planet get better financial knowledge. It will help you start and scale a business, build multiple streams of income, get your tax bill down, your income earning power up, and you can cancel anytime. There's no ongoing contract, and it costs virtually nothing. It costs less than 50p a day. The link is money.school. So if you want to make, manage and multiply more money, go and join money.school. The link is money.school. And remember, invest for freedom, choice and profit, because if you don't risk anything, you risk everything.